There's a part of me that makes it hard to see the world today. I often turn to comfort in these times. With my freaks and my geeks, I'll walk hard into the day. Helps to say fuck the lemons and bail. The cable guy will keep me warm on Talladega nights. When the world is feeling super bad, it makes me feel alright. The wanderlust just takes my mind off what's going on right now. Honey, I'm just a nerd for Apatow. Honey, I'm just a nerd for Apatow.
I'm Ethan Yeshaya, and this is Apatow Nerd. My guest today, Joey Hayes, is someone that I've known for quite a while, and we've played in multiple bands together, and we became really close friends. And naturally, sometimes friends drift apart, and this podcast episode brought us together in the most beautiful way, and I really hope you stick around past this intro to really hear this episode, because this was really something special. It's something that it was a little vulnerable, to be honest. I tear up quite a bit towards the end when I talk about my feelings, and it all really stemmed from the movie that Joey decided to talk about. Pineapple Express is it's a silly movie. It's about weed and all kinds of car chases and stuff like that, but at the heart of it is really about male friendship. I realized that something was weighing on me, and I shared it with Joey. And it was honest. And of course, afterwards, I was like, oh, I should probably cut that out. And he was like, no, you should leave that in because it was beautiful. And so this is very vulnerable for me. But besides that, it's a really fun episode. Joey is so funny. He's so smart. There's a lot of reasons why I've missed him over the years, as you'll be able to tell. He really thinks deeply about things, so it's just so fun to talk to him about this fucking hilarious movie, and it was a delight. So here he is, Joey Hayes. Hi, Joey.
Hi, Ethan. It's good to see you, buddy.
It's good to see you, buddy.
I'm happy to be here.
It's nice to have you here. I thought of you pretty immediately for this pod. Well, actually, Kai helped me get there quickly because I was sitting with him at a gig, and I was like, who do I need to talk about Judd Apatow? He said Joey, and I was like, oh yeah, of course. Like, yep. Joey's personality was probably
very much formatted by most of those movies, I would say.
I was wondering, especially with this one.
Yeah, totally. I think this one for me, it just came around at the right time. Like, I watched this movie before I even partook in anything.
Yeah.
I just had it on my downloaded onto my PS3, and I would just watch it in like chunks, just when it was appointment television. I would just put it on at 2 a.m. when I couldn't sleep and should have been doing homework,
Yeah.
And so I just really connected with it, and I connected with all. I mean, I loved Anchorman, I loved Step Brothers, I loved Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Mm-hmm. There was 15,000 movies where I was like, fuck, I should have.
And they were all in the same 5 years.
That's the crazy part, is that it really was a half a decade span where
Dude.
5 or 6 guys were just churning out the top tier comedies that everyone watches.
It's really it's probably 12 years, but it's slightly after Freaks and Geeks to right before the pandemic is kind of the golden age of Apatow.
Because he was a tastemaker even past that prime Rogan era. He was doing Trainwreck, and he was doing Pete Davidson shit. He really has had his finger on the pulse for most of my life at this point.
Yeah, and he still is. He's cranking out a lot of documentaries now.
Yeah,
on all kinds of comedians and stuff like that, and even the Avett brothers, musicians and stuff like that. Yeah. So he's kind of maybe it's because he's older and he's just interested in the nonfiction aspect. But I miss his voice in comedy a lot. He's one of my favorite. He is my favorite comedy producer. That's why I'm an Apatow nerd.
What do you think about his movies that he specifically would direct and write? How do those stack up to the Superbads or the ones that Seth and Evan were writing?
It's a really good question. I love them. I really love them.
Funny people, I guess, too.
Funny people. Funny people was really formative to me, but I think the most formative to me was actually Knocked Up.
For sure, yeah.
And I'll get into that when I talk to Frank later this week about Knocked Up.
He was talking to me about that.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about it. You know, Knocked Up was, for me, kind of felt like prime Apatow, like who Apatow, like what his vibe is.
Yeah, I mean, he really put himself into that like Paul Rudd character pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, he's literally cast his wife as Paul Rudd's wife. You know.
Yeah. So, the music in Knocked Up was by Loudon Wainwright, who's Rufus Wainwright's dad.
Damn, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
And Loudon's like an amazing singer-songwriter. There's some songs on that. I still listen to that soundtrack to Knocked Up.
It's really good.
And I like tear up to this one song. I forget. I think it's like second on that album, but it's just so beautiful.
Totally.
It's like,
yeah.
I think Judd's an amazing tastemaker of like music and using it in film.
The soundtrack of all of these, like we'll talk about it with Pineapple Express, but like Superbad, that soundtrack is so fucking good. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, the score is really good. Like it's like surprisingly like thoughtfully put together, the music, and like thoughtfully shot. Like they're like, you know, they're like real movies. I think they're
really good movies. They're really good movies. And this podcast is turning out to be like, when I thought of this idea, I was like, how can I scheme to like figure out how to interview people that worked with them? I'm still trying to do that. You know, if you're listening, if you know how to connect me to somebody, that's cool. Send me a message.
Leslie, get at us.
But who?
Leslie. Let's get Leslie.
Leslie, like Leslie Mann.
Let's shoot
I
big.
messaged her already.
High,
I said, I want to talk to you about your husband.
Yeah. I have no questions for you specifically. How has your husband's work impacted the world?
But what this podcast is turning out to be is not what I planned. And it's basically me asking my musician friends to rewatch his movies and talk about them. And that's becoming really special because I'm realizing like what an impact he's had on young musicians.
For sure. Well, it was,
you know,
for
like
me, it
an
was such a comfort to return to this movie that like, you know, sometimes like you get asked to watch a movie for whether it be like homework or, you know, it's like required watching for something. And you're like, okay, I guess like it was absolutely no skin off my back to rewatch Pineapple Express. It was such a treat the entire time. Like I was so thrilled to revisit it. It's like putting on like Rumors or just like an album that you've heard a bajillion times that just brings you back to that specific place. And that movie in particular, like really, I don't know. We can get into it now, but like I have so many feelings about just the general tone of that movie and how it's like influenced my day-to-day life, you know, in ways.
And it's, you know,
good and bad. As
a podcast producer who my job now, I'm not that I'm getting any money for it yet, but
big bucks.
My role now is really asking people to spend 2 hours watching something and then maybe even taking notes and then coming over or, you know, Zooming with me and then spending another hour and a half talking about it or whatever. So it's kind of a big ask, but like you said, like,
doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't feel like it to pretty much anyone I've talked to so far, because I'm realizing that everyone in our generation, in our worldview, probably in a lot of other worldviews too. I bet.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, I bet there's some ICE agents that would love to come over and talk about Superbad,
like, Superbad specifically, and get all the wrong messages out of it.
Yeah, Anchorman is
the conquest of
about
women.
how men just have it wrong.
Yeah, men's rights.
No, but like Apatow's movies and shows have something special for everyone.
Yeah, everyone has an in. Everyone has their own like connection with these movies, whether it's through the casting or the soundtrack or through just like a specific memory that's like a, you know, he does such a good job of like like pulling relatable moments seemingly out of thin air, you know, just like there's a lot of that in Superbad. I'm gonna try not to talk about Superbad too much, but like,
no, actually I would like to.
Totally, yeah,
because I think these movies go hand in hand.
They do, yeah. They're kind of like sister movies in terms of like, I don't know, they just are so tethered to like this idea of like platonic male love. That's what I keep going back to in both of those movies. You know what I mean? It's just like it's so 100% about, and that's, I think a lot of the Seth and Evan scripts specifically are about like their friendship and the way that they view friendship in general and the way that they sometimes like conflict in terms of how they approach their friendships. Like, you know, Dale Denton is like, thinks he's kind of better than Saul and doesn't want to admit that this is probably the closest.
Better than Saul.
Better than Saul. It crossed my mind a couple times. But no, it's he has this like, well, he's my weed dealer. I can't, this is not what my life looks like. When this
he really thinks he's above a drug dealer when he's like going to the high school.
He's literally Joe Rogan. He's literally like dating an almost underage girl. He is super all about talk radio and like probably would be a podcaster now. Smokes gargantuan amounts of weed. Yep. Like he's the proto Rogan. His name is Rogan, I guess.
Yeah. And I think it's, to me, it's a story about a guy who was on track to being kind of a big loser. And I think through, like you said, through male friendship, he kind of learned a lot about himself and about how his behaviors affect other people.
Yeah, totally.
And even though he didn't really learn his lesson with the girlfriend where he said, I love you. And then she said, let's get married. And he was like, I think I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. What?
Can we just talk about how her character was played by
Amber Heard?
Amber Heard.
She kind of eats down in this fucking movie too. She does such a good job as like the high school princess. Like,
well, I was like
out of her depth.
I was watching the movie and I remembered her character and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good actor. Who is that? She was doing a good job. Amber Heard.
Oh my
Amber
God.
Heard.
Yeah.
I watched the trials.
Yeah, I saw that shit happen. No, I saw her in like, what was it, Aquaman?
And she pooed in the bed or something.
Something crazy like that. I don't know. There is a whole lot of I think they're both incredibly toxic people.
No. That's what my take was when I watched a little bit of those trials and I was just like, I'm a, an adult kid of divorced parents. My parents divorced when I was older, but there's that thing where you love your parents in a divorce household, but you also realize that a lot of times they're just both dead wrong.
Yeah.
In certain ways, not all the time,
for sure,
but in moments that I watched that trial and I was just like, I love my dad, Johnny Depp. I don't really know Amber Heard, but they just seem like a set of parents that
my drunk aunt and
have
uncle
a lot of
that
issues.
Throw shit at each other all the time.
Or something. Yeah, it's that's
well, if we're talking about it, should we talk about James Franco? Should we go there?
No, I was thinking about James Franco a lot.
He's so good in this movie. Unfortunately, he kind of makes the movie.
He's one of my favorite actors, especially one of my favorite actors who's kind of disgraced.
For sure, yeah, he's definitely top 5 canceled actors for me.
Yeah,
it's him.
He had a big impact on me in Freaks and Geeks and in a number of other things.
Spider-Man, Harry Osborn.
Yeah. I just watched a kind of a heartbreaking clip of him kind of reacting to Seth Rogen kind of stating that I won't work with this guy
We're
again.
not friends anymore, yeah.
And his response was really sad because he was just like, I have nothing but love for the guy. We worked together for 20 years and he was always my best friend and we never had a fight.
I watched that exact same clip today.
And he's right. And I'm wrong. And it was just like, yeah, you are wrong.
That's about the size of it. Yeah.
And it's also heartbreaking. It's weird to have empathy for the person who did harm.
No, I mean, there's legitimate like grief and disappointment that always comes with like learning that the people that you look up to or the people that you enjoy, in terms of their output, when you learn that they're kind of pieces of shit or just like, at the very least deeply flawed human beings. And like there's a certain level of like, I definitely rewatched this movie having to kind of like put that out of my mind. But then there are little things where it's like, oh, James Franco's really cool with Seth Rogen's character dating a high school girl.
Yeah.
That did crumb. Yeah. He's just like, that's cool. Does she like to smoke weed? Like completely. I'm like, he's probably had this exact conversation before.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up such a huge Bill Cosby fan.
Of course, yeah.
Like huge. Like I and don't take this the wrong way. I dressed like Bill Cosby.
Many
for
did.
No, but not in a bad way. I dressed up like him for like career day, or where you dress up like a famous person in 3rd grade, like someone you admire. So what I wore was a sweater with an apron over it because that's what he wore oftentimes on the show.
Right, when he was cooking.
He would wear an apron because he was always cooking on that show. And I'm always heartbroken still by that.
It's tough, man.
That one.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard when you really love a person, but maybe not the person you really love.
For sure, yeah.
How they displayed themselves publicly until they didn't,
Well, and we could talk for hours just about like the court of public opinion and how like how to recontextualize and like reconsume art that's made by shitty people. But at the end of the day, it's like James Franco is kind of the heart of this movie. Like, I don't think this movie happens without James Franco in that role specifically, you know?
No, I what's funny is I didn't even think about him as a disgrace actor for a second when I was watching the movie. I didn't even think about that it was James Franco. I just was like, what a great character.
The character is just so good.
He is the movie to me.
So textured, like, so just all the stuff with his bubby, the euthanasia.
It was really sweet. Yeah, how much he loved his bubby.
If I needed to.
He really cared about his bubby's feelings.
Bubby, but also he really wants her dead so it can get that money. Like, he really wants to get the bag off of Bubby. It's so fucking funny.
But he was more considerate of Bubby's feelings than Seth Rogen was considerate of pretty much anyone's feelings in the film.
Absolutely. And that's the whole point. I think that they're showcasing that like this presumably like, gross, greasy weed dealer guy is actually like such an empath and so like connected with his friends and is like going to teach you something about like love and about friendship, and it's there's a fun subversion there that I think he just like it, like if it's like, I'm trying to think of another example of someone else that could have maybe played that role around that time, but if it's like any sleazier, it like doesn't work. And it also, if it's any more like endearing, I don't think it works either,
Yeah, James Franco is just like this, like so I'm not talking about his character as a person.
No, his character.
Like him as an actor is so endearing. I mean, he's a very handsome guy, and that actually I think it lends to his acting a lot because it's like, I'm not attracted to men, but I find him attractive.
He's a hot guy,
like he's a good looking guy, and so when I see him in something and he smiles, I'm kind of like,
that shit eating like grin that goes across his face when he's talking about that girl who gave me a hand job with like
when they're in the woods sitting on the car.
I don't even know your name. The fucking grin on his face. Like if that had been a silent scene, I would have still been laughing my ass off the entire. It's so fucking funny. The shit eating grin on his face is like, I swear to God, such a big part of like his success in general.
So I actually want to bring up another actor in the film in a very similar topic because I actually wrote it down. Here's a sentence. I'll just read my notes.
Yep.
Craig Robinson's smile is at once handsome, charming, and funny.
Yeah.
When he laughs or smiles in a movie, I instantly laugh or smile myself.
You ain't got no style, motherfucker.
Yeah. I think about him on The Office, like season 3.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
Like early Daryl.
Pretty deadpan too in that role compared to Matheson. He's very, very subdued.
Yeah. But he's just something about his smile that I just like, my heart is so warmed by him. And he was kind of a villain in this movie.
For sure. Yeah.
Which is weird.
So many good lines though. Dinner's gonna be cold tonight, asshole.
Yeah,
I
definitely wrote
down.
some lines because I haven't seen this movie since high school or early college or something. But I had a hot take that I also wrote down.
Yeah,
I think that the poster of the movie, it has James Franco, Seth Rogen, and Danny McBride.
Right.
I think the poster should have had James Franco, Seth Rogen, and Craig Robinson on it.
I think it would have to be Kevin Corrigan and Craig Robinson.
Okay,
because I think
that would be fine.
Their friendship is like supposed to be a parallel to Dale and Saul's friendship, I think.
Oh, you're so smart. I didn't even think about that.
Because it's like they are not willing to... And actually, it's funny because when I watched the movie initially when I was a kid, I watched like the unrated version, which had some extra scenes.
That's the one I watched, yeah.
There's like that extra little moment of Matheson and Butlovsky in the car where Poison is playing, and he's like, I just want you to know, like, I know we like have our differences, but like I'm really grateful for you and I'm glad we're friends. And he goes, this is so exciting. But
man.
in the theatrical version, that it just cuts right to him going, this is so exciting, and they cut the entire like bonding moment. And I think that's really important to
that's a nice moment.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like it gives the viewer like so much more like texture when it comes to their friendship, and when it comes to like, eventually when they turn on each other and, dinner's gonna be cold tonight, it feels so much like you feel like a little bit of the betrayal. You're like, oh damn, like not like this, not like this, Craig.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He is such a, he's so fucking funny when he slides his hands into the food. Hey, the food's still warm. And just like makes this noise. Oh my God. It's so unbelievably funny. I lose my shit every time.
Yeah, it is such a funny movie. But yeah, I was thinking about like the poster and I was like, Craig Robinson should be on the poster for this movie because his character was like in a lot of scenes.
He's probably
and
in
like
it more
really
than,
important.
He's probably in it more than Danny McBride.
But I guess the thought behind that poster was probably they wanted to choose the protagonists for the poster.
For sure.
And so Danny McBride kind of didn't seem like he was gonna be a protagonist till the very end.
No,
isn't that kind of the thing?
Yeah, and he's also not really in very much of the movie.
That's why I was like, why is he on the poster?
Totally. It was funny rewatching it because, like, you know, in my mind, he's such a huge part of it. And also in the unrated version, there's so much of his improv stuff that, like, what I had for dinner last night, cake. Like, all of that is cut. All of that is cut. So there's so many little funny moments with him, so many beats that, like, in the theatrical version, he just feels like kind of like almost a cameo in how little he's in the movie. Like, his character, like, kind of just moves the plot forward in hilarious ways and just, like, tanks so many fucking bullets. And it's just like, I don't know, but, like, he's also really, like, his friendship with Saul is a funny comp, too, because it's so, like, I just love the dynamics that they set of, like, these guys who, like, clearly, like, are friends, but they're maybe not quite as close of friends as they think they are.
Yeah.
And there's that underlying tension of course, you, like, ratted them out, but also just, like, the thing they have in common is weed and, like, bong mitzvah. And, like, it's so incredibly relatable as someone who has also made some friendships based off of, you know, certain substances over the years and been like, oh, I don't actually like you. I actually don't think this is a tenable friendship. And, like, you can just see, like, I don't know. It's just they do such a good job of encapsulating, like, weird, specific, vaguely transactional male friendships and how those can sometimes, like, peter out, or they can turn into a real, genuine, you know, platonic love, or you murder your friend with a pistol. You know, those are the three endings, basically.
I kind of just didn't.
Friendship.
I didn't get Seth Rogen's character because he, like, why couldn't he see that James Franco's character is just perfect for him? Yeah. Like how could you be that blind to, like, you're not that cool a guy, you're a process server.
No,
like,
dude, my heart genuinely sank when it's like James Franco's like, he's like, I totally, like, glad I dipped in your ink, bro. And, like, Dale just gives him nothing back. And I just, like, it's a genuinely upsetting moment in a very funny movie. Or even when it's like they have their big, like, I wrote some shit down about their fight. I'm kind of jumping all over the movie now, but it's like, I just love the, like, big fight. Yeah. Towards the end of the movie, it's like a pretty hard scene to pull off in any movie. Of just
their fight was emotional, and I my listeners, anyone who's listened to multiple episodes, they are probably sick of me always mentioning kind of what I like in Judd Apatow, but he strikes me as always inserting moments of, like, emotion into silly movies, and I think many would argue to his detriment almost in terms of, like, the movies that he makes. I think a lot of people, like, I've seen a lot of takes and critiques about, like, Funny People and Knocked Up, like, specifically because, like, towards the end they do basically just become a drama, like, in the last, like, 25 minutes. That's why I like them. They're grounded in reality, and they make for really good films. And then there's just enough comedy in there to make it balance. It's my taste, you know. Totally. It's like, well, you just fall in love with the characters too, and you can, even in the movies that where he is not writing or directing, you can sense that kind of influence of just, like, there has to be a through line of, like, human connection and, like, you know, then that's just good storytelling at the end of the day too. Like, credit where credit's due to Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg for, like, being incredibly competent screenwriters and like having a crazy, like, fruitful career just as screenwriters. Like, it's really impressive what they're able to do. Seth Rogen is my damn hero. He's really so great. Yeah. I was just listening to him on what's that guy, Sam I know who you're talking about. The behind the camera Sam that's the AI guy. Sam Almond? I was like, I know a stand-up comedian named Sam Almond. Is a crazy name. I'm jealous though. I know a guy. Damn. Hello, my name is Sam Almond. Wow, that got real. Yeah, he's a guy I know.
Real guy shuts out.
Oh.
So you can cut all that.
What was your first awareness of Judd Apatow in any context?
It's a good question. It was probably, realistically, it was probably Anchorman, just because that movie was one of the first. Like, I didn't see it in theaters. I don't think I saw damn near any of these movies in theaters, to be honest. They were such DVD movies in my house growing up. Like, we for sure had the Anchorman DVD, and I would watch it like on a if not a daily basis, then like a bi-weekly or a tri-weekly basis.
Really?
I watched Anchorman that's another one like Pineapple Express where I could just quote it down, just front to back. I could probably quote the entire movie.
That's wild.
So that was a big in, and then I think from there I watched some Freaks and Geeks, I watched Talladega Nights, and then I was just kind of in. I think I missed a little bit of the boat on like 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up initially when they came out.
And you were aware as a kid that it was the same guy that made all these things.
I think I was aware. I at least like had there was the Seth Rogen through line of like he's in most of these movies. Oh, it's this one guy who's like doing most of this. Like he's popping up, he's producing. I didn't really know at that point like what a producer really did, but it seemed like I
mean, we probably still don't. I think that's one of those ambiguous jobs that can mean like a lot of different things.
It really, I mean, ask Rick Rubin. It's like it can evolve on a daily basis. It can involve, maybe you just use AI for everything. You know, that's if you're Rick.
And one of the things I'm most interested in about Judd is he's a producer. Like even when he's directing something, I feel like he has like the lens of a producer first, because he's just like, he has this, I feel I'm not behind the scenes, so I
right.
You know, this is why I want to talk to people that have worked with him. Maybe he's a big old dick, but I just really don't think so. He strikes me as a guy who makes a beautiful connection with everyone he meets and makes them feel really comfortable, and takes their talents that might be small at first and kind of blows them into big talents. Like Seth Rogen was just kind of a sarcastic, funny, I mean, obviously really talented teenage kid, but he was like, no, like keep writing, like keep, you know, like I feel like he has this talent for encouraging young people to,
and that's kind
do
of
their
what Freaks
thing.
and Geeks wasn't it? It was just kind of a springboard for a lot of these young talented comedians to like legit like startup career, like Martin Starr, Jason Segel, like even Linda Cardellini. Like I don't think she had that many credits prior to, you know, but
no, not really. She was like on Boy Meets World for
sure,
an episode.
And that was, and then she was Velma, and then, you know, and then I died inside after she became Velma. You know,
was that your childhood crush?
Part of me never came back after that. Well, it was, I think childhood, it was more Sarah Michelle Gellar as Daphne, and then as my tastes evolved over the years, I think Velma, Linda Cardellini's Velma became a paramour of mine.
Yeah.
But
she's a great actor.
She's incredible.
She's really funny.
She's so good.
Lindsay Weir is just like so iconic.
That's like, so I think that character has influenced like so many like local musicians specifically, like in terms of aesthetic and in terms of like ethos and in terms, I don't know, it's like she's so iconic in the movie. Anyways, Freaks and Geeks, and then I think like 2008, 2009, I was just watching them down. It was Step Brothers, it was Forgetting Sarah Marshall, it was Funny People, it was like anything this guy's putting out, like I'm probably gonna see it and I'm probably gonna laugh my ass off at it. And like I don't really know when that, I don't think there was a time when that specifically changed. I think I just stopped tapping in maybe around Trainwreck, or maybe around like the Pete Davidson stuff. I was a little, or like I think maybe This Is the End was kind of like for me a big. Are you doing that with somebody?
This Is the End. Not so far,
because that's an interesting movie.
Did he work on that?
Movie. Did Judd Apatow?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure. He produced it? Or?
I'm 85% sure he just produced it. But yeah,
I remember liking that one.
It's fun. It's really, really fucking funny. And it's funny because I kind of mixed up Danny McBride's like presence in that movie with his presence in Pineapple Express, because in This Is the End, he's such a like ringer. He just fucking shows up and steals every single scene he's in. He's so funny, and you can tell the movie knows it, that he's the X factor of the movie. Whereas he's kind of just a character. He's a very, very funny character. Red is the Uggs that Red is wearing are so iconic.
Yeah.
But like he's there's a little less like pomp and circumstance put on his character's introduction, which I think is it's interesting, because I was just like, Danny McBride obviously bowls everyone over, he blows everyone under the water, and it's like he's great, but he's not the movie. He's not the movie.
I had the same kind of expectation. Like when I watched it, I was like, I feel like Danny McBride's going to like kind of steal the show. And I just over and over again, I was like, James Franco is just crushing this movie. I think it's like the best thing James Franco's ever done.
I kind of agree. Yeah.
Like I think Freaks and Geeks, Daniel Desario on Freaks and Geeks was like some of the best acting I've seen James Franco do, which
He's
is pretty
great.
wild because it was like his first thing.
Really early on. It was that, and he was like James Dean in some movie.
Yeah,
in the
but I think
90s.
Freaks and Geeks came first.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah,
to
I think that
about.
was like his first thing. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but like,
And then
it was like all of their first thing. It was like
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
No, they're babies.
Jason
dude.
Segel.
It's crazy.
Jason Segel was doing a high school play because he grew up in LA. And
Right.
he was, in some high school doing a play, and a casting director. I don't know. I don't think it was Allison Jones who did Freaks and Geeks.
Right, yeah.
I think it might have been one of the other casting directors, like went to that high school play and like picked him out and like was like, "Hey, do you want to be in the movies, kid?"
This is not a thing that happens anymore.
No,
for the record, people.
I don't
This
think
is
it
not a
happens
thing.
like almost ever.
No.
It's like a
Even
one of those
then, it was a
legendary
rarity.
things. Yeah.
No, it is wild. I mean, he just is always able to like find the funniest people of any given generation. Like even in this movie, like, Ken Jeong and Bobby Lee are not playing my favorite characters in the movie. There's something.
I was
to be
thinking
said
about those scenes because like I'm like, oh, they're so funny.
Yeah, they're trying.
I mean,
they're
it's-
funny guys. I, in my opinion, don't think the like plot of the like Asian mob gang war is. I don't think
it's
that's
a
the
little offensive
I don't
for
think it's the
today's
funny-
standards.
For sure.
but-
Well, and it's just like not quite funny enough for it to, come back around.
There was one line that was really funny. I wrote it down.
Suck on my balls 2 times.
No, it was fuck. Let's see if I can find it. Prepare to suck the cock of karma. I was
that's
like,
a good
oh
line.
my god. Ken Jeong was a medical doctor.
Yeah, it was. He like had a show, like a talk show, where I think he would answer medical questions.
Was that before he became a comedian?
No, I think it was well after, but it's funny because
okay.
like that was kind of the era where like he does that, and then he does The Hangover, where he's also playing pretty like stereotypical Asian
'cause
guy. It was very of the time.
Hollywood definitely did, I think, kind of they started thinking more about inclusivity with Asian folks, because the conversation about black people in Hollywood has always kind of been a thing, but I feel
Right.
like Asian people had a moment a number of years ago.
Totally, yeah.
Like,
especially in comedy, there was like Crazy Rich Asians, and like
Yeah, there was-
Awkwafina became really successful, and there's a lot more
yeah, it
representation.
just seemed like there was a kind of a bit of a shift. And I actually think Aziz Ansari's show, Master of None, was really important
That show
for
was
a
so
lot
good.
of people. His episode about Asians on TV or Indians on TV, but it was kind of
Right.
about,
to quote the movie, Indians are technically Asians.
yes, but no, that was an amazing episode to kind of like think about what specifically Asian and Indian actors go through,
So much
like
bullshit.
in Hollywood, and it's really particular. It's like so I'm glad these conversations are happening, because
Yeah.
a movie like that now, I don't think Ken Jeong would be playing that role.
No,
they would
no,
find
no.
a much cooler role for him to play now.
They would find a cooler role, and they would maybe just like, I think those were a couple of the instances where Judd Apatow didn't necessarily tap into what's funny about either of those guys.
yeah.
Bobby Lee is kind of just there, which is weird because Bobby Lee is we know him as such a fucking deranged comedian, but he's kind of just like another henchman that Seth Rogen just like domes at one point, and then he's
Yeah.
like out of the movie. So I think that like that is one of the few things in the movie that has aged. I think most
Definitely.
of the movie is fucking timeless.
Yeah,
I think 95%
I think so too.
of the movie is just
I was
like,
pretty surprised by it
totally,
too.
dude, it's almost 20 years old, which is also crazy.
Whoa.
The movie is 18 years old, came out in 2008.
Holy shit.
I know.
We're
I know.
old as fuck.
We're very old now. The thing that I
Dude.
wanted to talk about with Judd is that he's such a, I think he's just amazing at like marketing too. Because do you remember that trailer? That
For
trailer
this
was
movie?
yeah, with Paper Planes, the MIA song.
Oh.
It was absolutely everywhere. And this is like, I didn't see the movie in theaters, but I saw the trailer probably 25,000 times.
That was for this movie.
yeah.
I couldn't remember it because I remember that was a big deal. Like Seth Rogen, like smoking weed
With
to
MIA.
but that
Yeah.
song wasn't in the movie, was it?
No, it's not in the movie. I don't even think it's in the soundtrack, but it's like very.
That's so weird because I remember how iconic that song was associated to Seth Rogen in my
It fully
brain.
was. I don't know. It's like he honestly like probably did wonders for MIA's career at the time too. It was such a harmonious like, oh, this song is kind of blown up. Like his fingers just always been on the pulse.
Oh shit, that's wild.
I know. Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know. Yeah, I think the other thing I wanted to say about Judd is that he is so good at like tying a movie together in ways that I don't even notice. Like, well, I guess this is more of a credit to Seth and Evan, but like the thing that blew my mind on this past watch through, which maybe is a testament to the headspace I've been in when watching the movies in previous years. But I didn't realize that the warehouse from the opening 10 minutes of the movie is Ted's compound. Like,
at the end?
Yeah, I never put that together in the 20,000 times I've seen the movie.
Because it's like old-timey in the beginning.
Yeah, and they show Dale and Saul have their like little bro heart-to-heart BFFs, and the like weird scuba suit is just in the background.
Oh, cool.
They're like, oh, bleep, blorp, bleep, bleep. You know, the Bill, like who shoots Bill Hader at the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I just never put that together. I think I was writing some other note and I literally gasped out loud, like, fuck. Like,
that's so cool.
I know. Yeah. I'd never put that together. And I have to give credit to the screenwriters for like, you know, consistently like, because it's funny that when I rewatched the movie, the first 10 minutes are so funny.
Yeah.
Like Bill Hader is so incredible, obviously. The guy with the eye patch, I forget that actor's name. Or maybe he does have the eye patch, right? Was he also in Malcolm in the Middle with an eye patch? Am I making that up?
I don't know.
I swear to God, it's the same guy.
Really?
But just the first 10 minutes of the movie, you're kind of like, what's the point of this?
Right.
Like, oh, it's just to show that, like, you know, weed makes you more anti-authority and like the government hates that. Or I thought it was just maybe to set the tone of like, this is going to be a silly stoner movie, but like, they actually thought to like at least do a visual callback. And, you know, there's like enough to grab onto where it's like, oh no, again, like I said, this is a real movie with real like visual motifs and like, you know, like actual thought about every single shot. And like, there's some, the camera like has a lot to do with a lot of the jokes too. Sorry, I'm just rambling now, but
it's really good cinematography, isn't it? I Googled who actually, maybe I wrote it down, who did the cinematography is a guy named Tim Orr. Okay. And he's mainly worked with director David Gordon Green. But what's interesting, like he on a bunch of different movies, but what's interesting is David Gordon Green did all the new Halloween movies.
Oh, word.
And he didn't work with him on those Halloween movies.
Are they shot like less interesting? Have you seen them?
Well, they're probably shot in a more horror way. So they probably got like a horror guy to do those. But I did not realize David Gordon Green had directed this movie.
Yeah, I didn't realize that
I was really
either.
blown away by that.
Well, I think you can kind of tell in the later, more like action-y, quote unquote, parts of the movie.
Oh, it becomes a full action movie.
It does. And I think my hot take is that I enjoy more the scenes where the characters are just hanging out than the more plot-y stuff, you know?
Me too. So I had this on DVD growing up and I watched it a number of times, but I think I watched the first 25 minutes like unlimited times, but I don't think I would always watch the whole thing. I would get to a certain point. And I'm trying to like remember like if that's true, because I'm like, I don't remember doing that with a lot of movies, but like when I was watching it, I was like, I don't remember a lot of these action scenes.
Even the car chase,
all that stuff. And what's hard about a movie like this is that the action, I don't want to say it takes away from the jokes, but it does distract from really funny, well-written jokes that are in there. So you really actually have to kind of lean into your seat a little bit and lean forward and pay attention to catch a lot. So I'm glad I was like on ADHD medication and watched this like 6 a.m. Because I think if I watch it late at night, I think the action would just kind of wash over me and I would miss a lot of the jokes.
Yeah, it eats up a little bit of the runtime too. I would say that like compared to, again, maybe a movie like Superbad, that's so like the pace of that movie is, I think, perfect. Yeah. I think it's such a like,
oh my God, Superbad
incredible encapsulation of like just a fucked up night in high school and you wake up feeling weird and like different, but also the same, you know, just it's so perfectly paced. You know, every beat of that movie works, I think, because there's no real fat. And it's like, I think this movie is maybe 15 minutes too long. Like, I think that was by the time they get to the compound, I kind of get to like
you get a little fatigued from all the action.
And I just like, I love to death that very last scene where they're just talking in the diner and it's very obvious they're improvising. Yeah. But it like gets a little tear in my eye every time. It's just such a like, it fills me with so much nostalgia when they like dip out and they get into the car with Bubby and she's like, you guys smell like shit. And there's like this like Robert Palmer song that starts playing. Yeah. I woke up laughing. It's like such a like specific like, I am 14 and I'm happy, you know, like it just really puts me back into a time and place, like that specific ending. And it's obviously it's hilarious, but it's like, it's not necessarily the funniest part of the movie, but it's so special to me for some reason, because it just like, I don't know, it puts me back there in such a perfect way. And that's like,
I think that's Superbad for me.
Yeah, totally.
I think Superbad is my Pineapple Express. It, like, in terms of like, you know, the 14-year-old boy movie.
Yeah, totally.
I think that was mine.
I think, honestly, they're probably realistically tied in my mind. Because that ending too, it's so devastating, but it's also so like heartening at the same time. You know, just
and
like
I always suspected that that's Judd's writing or producing, like in those moments where there's a lot of heart or conflict or like emotional stuff. And the reason why I think that is because of Freaks and Geeks and all of his directorial movies, you know, This Is 40 and Funny People, and it's like all these movies that have a lot of really serious stuff happening.
Right, they're dramedies. Like, they're properly dramedies.
But I also wonder, maybe that's also just Seth Rogen's sensibility too, and maybe sometimes I give too much credit to Apatow. Maybe I could actually benefit from giving Seth Rogen a little bit more credit, because he is such a master writer.
I think he's a sentimental guy too.
I think he is too. And I think maybe he got some of that sentimental stuff and got, you know, mentored by Apatow, but maybe he just is, maybe sometimes I'm crediting Apatow when Seth Rogen is really doing a lot of this stuff too.
At the very least, I think at least Apatow is setting this tone of just like camaraderie and friendship. And like, you know, I mean, it's very clear that all these guys looked up to him so immediately. And it's like, I think about like another one of my favorites, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which Jason Segel famously wrote himself and like wrote his own vampire musical and like, you know, shoehorned that in. But it feels very much like Apatow wrote it and directed it. You know what I mean?
It really does, yeah.
And I think that's because like they're all so like of the school of his screenplays, and probably like, you know, I'm assuming he wrote a lot of Freaks, if not all of Freaks and Geeks, and like
Judd, he wrote some of it.
Gotcha. And I don't doubt that probably rubbed off on Seth and on Jason, and like in terms of their writing and the way they approach their characters, like these like deeply flawed men who are like a little bit broken inside, and the only salve is like each other. You know, like I think that's a through line in like almost all of his movies. But yeah, I do notice it more particularly with the Seth and Evan movies, just that like friendship conquers all kind of vibe. I do want to talk about Ed Begley Jr. very quick.
Oh, please.
He I forgot how fucking funny he is. Like the minute he's on screen, I'm laughing. Like just him sitting with his arms folded at the table. He hasn't even said any of his lines yet, but he's just. You guys can sit up, you know, all you want, but in 5 minutes time, I'm eating some food. I'm taking it. So
and he grabs his gun.
That's what the lines I wrote down is. I'm gonna go away. You know, I'm gonna grab. And Seth Rogen goes, no, what? And like, such a like. But then you assholes do exactly what I say. Around, take you outside and fuck you in the street. He's so funny.
I wrote down that quote too. I'm gonna fuck you. Wait.
You assholes do exactly as I say, or I will take you outside and fuck you in the street. And then Seth Rogen goes, "Don't fuck us anywhere."
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I wrote down. Seth made me laugh at that one. I was like, "Don't fuck us anywhere."
But he's just so. Again, like the casting is so perfect. He's like he is all. I feel like in every movie I see him in or show, because he's also in Better Call Saul. Speaking of Saul,
which one is
Ed Begley Jr.?
Oh, great, yeah,
but he
amazing.
Plays a similar, just like put upon dad. That's like, I can't believe this bullshit's happening to me. But like,
Stan Sitwell from Arrested Development.
Yeah. Stan Sitwell. Oh my god, yeah, he plays a but he's so unbelievably funny in that role. Is just like. Like, get the fuck out of my car. I can't even believe you would think that would be an option. Like, all of his lines are so...
Like, I'm just trying to keep you guys safe.
Fuck off, loser. He's so funny. And so many of those little bit parts are so good. Like, he's so funny. I love Gary Cole and I love Rosie Perez also. I think their chemistry is, like, really surprising. Like, they really, like, bounce off of each other in a very, like... tangible way, and I just love the Rosie Perez of it all. She's so incredible in that role, and like
that's cool to hear you say that, because I just had Mo Collins. I just interviewed her. Crazy. And she tells a story. Well, I'll have to release that episode before this one.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
No spoilies.
She tells a story about how she was actually the third person that was asked to be in Pineapple Express.
Oh, to be the lady cop.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then they changed their mind and they went with Rosie Perez. But she was I think she still kind of has some feelings about it. And she kind of said something like, we don't really remember what she did in that movie, did she? Like, I think I would have really crushed it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
I think that's fair. And
I disagree, but that's fair.
I agree with where she's coming from, because I think she's a lot more of a comedian than Rosie Perez is, but I think that's probably why they casted Rosie Perez, because there's so much comedy. We don't need more. We kind of need a character who's grounded in reality.
Yeah,
so that's probably why they went with her, because she was really real. She's as like a cop.
An acclaimed dramatic actor, and I think that movie does need like a little bit of like someone needs to be the adult in the room, so to speak. And because Gary Cole is even being goofy too. Like he's you are fucking dead. And he's in his underpants and he's raging all it like. She has to kind of be the voice of reason, at least of the criminal underworld, in terms of like, not everyone can be funny in this movie. Like someone just has to like deliver lines. And she honestly, I think she has a fucking great where she finds Dale's car and he's like filled with all these strange disguises, a powdered wig, a sombrero, leotards, and she delivers it so deadpan, and that to me is the funniest part of the movie. Like I laughed my
think we needed a
deadpan
because Mo Collins is such a genius at silliness,
of course,
and this movie couldn't be any sillier. So
no,
I think it was a good, in a way, it was a good call.
Right.
I would have loved to see what she did with it. That would have been really interesting. But yeah.
Well, it's not Airplane. It's not quite like every single part of this movie is a joke.
No, it has to be grounded in reality. And I actually think James Franco was really good at keeping it real. Seth Rogen's such a good actor too. Like I was watching him. There's a scene where he kind of like he goes into the bathroom and like approaches like Danny McBride, who is like injured. I don't remember what was happening, but he's like injured and like, and he was kind of like. He was kind of making this very Seth Rogen-y face at him and delivering like 2 minutes of dialogue, making the same kind of Seth Rogen-y face. And I'm like, that actually takes a really good actor to really lean into a particular choice. Like,
it takes a great deal of concentration.
Making a certain face, and he was just really keeping it, and he was kind of making this like kind of incredulous face at him.
Oh, is it where he's like it's Danny McBride's like dying and
he's like,
that's true.
He's like, you don't like
you're
have to like die. Like what are you doing? Like,
he does really commit to the incredulous Seth Rogen face. And it's totally
a good
called
actor.
For. He is. Yeah.
Then you watch like was a movie called like 50-50?
Yeah, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, it's like these movies where Seth Rogen is just like
Steve Jobs. He plays not Tim Cook, fucking the other guy, Steve Wozniak.
Well, Funny People, man. He
that's true.
He basically plays this character who's the assistant to a famous guy who knows he's dying, but nobody else does. And Seth Rogen's the only one in the movie for a long time that knows that this guy has cancer.
Yeah.
And it's just killing him. There's a scene where he's just crying at the restaurant. Yeah. And it's like, he's so good, man.
Yeah,
he's a really good actor.
Real work in a lot of these movies. And I think that's like, that was kind of, he was able to kind of get over that crutch, or that like, I don't know, Jonah Hill really struggled in Hollywood, and just like in terms of the amount of like critiques about his body, and just like in terms of he clearly was working through a lot of insecurities and like but
sad because Jonah Hill's such a genius.
He's so funny, and also doing amazing dramatic work in like Moneyball and then Wolf of Wall Street.
I hate hearing that. I mean, totally, he also like, I know he's had some kind of bad behavioral stuff.
Totally not. Definitely kind of canceled, but also just in terms of like the dramatic career that like he still has had a great, incredibly acclaimed career. That, like, and has more Oscar nominations than any of the other guys in that scene. But like, I do think Seth Rogen just played it. He played it right in terms of like, so many of his career moves have been like, all right, I'm going to be a leading man for a little bit, but also I'm going to be the kind of leading man where like I can kind of be a passive protagonist and let like the other people cook and be funny, and like things will kind of happen to me. And I'll react in a funny way. Like there's so many, his reactions are so funny throughout the movie. When he hits his head really hard in the woods, and then he makes it to the car, and Franco jumps up on him, and just the scream that he lets out is fucking hilarious. But it's like he's so good at just like responding and reacting in those moments. But then later on in his career, he's like, all right, now I'm just going to produce. I'm going to act sometimes in like my own shit. But like, I want to just like be more of a company man. And like, I don't know, he's done a really good job of like keeping himself like relevant and keeping the conversation
he always
in the right
is
place about him, you know.
He's like the most relevant of like any of these people we've talked about.
Easily,
like
yeah.
Seth Rogen is just like, I mean,
household name.
We're still talking about Seth Rogen, right?
Totally. Yeah.
I'm not an idiot.
No, you're not. You're not. Yeah.
We've dropped so many names. I was worried that you were.
No, I'm still
on
on Seth
somebody.
Rogen for sure.
Yeah. So like, Seth Rogen he's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
He's
always
such a good guy.
He
like,
is. He seems like a good dude, and he's always kind of playing himself, but it always makes sense in the roles that he's cast in. You know, he's like, remember him in Donnie Darko?
Yes. Oh yeah.
He's like the
of
little
course.
shit that's like, didn't your brother fucking die? But he's like, it's perfect. Like everything he's cast in, it's like there's not a lot of variance in the characters, but it's like, no, this has to be Seth Rogen playing this part. He's so essential to like that movie working, and just like if you got someone a little less, I mean, he's just like the perfect amount of goofy looking for that movie to work. And it's like the more actiony parts of the movie are funny because it's like, you know, he has that like, sorry Ted, you've been served. He has this like the kind of action hero moment, like the, you know, Bruce Willis Die Hard moment, but then like immediately afterwards his pants like set on fire and he like looks like an ass. Like he like has to throw his pants away and now he's in his underpants. I'm like, oh, that's like good. That's like really funny, because initially when it got to the sorry Ted, you've been served moment, I was kind of like, okay, like this movie didn't necessarily need this, but then that immediately followed by his pants lighting on fire. It was like, this is really fucking funny. I see what we're going for now.
Well, then there was that great line later where he tried to explain that he was a process server and James Franco couldn't say the words.
Protest servant. Like a butler. Shine shoes. No, I'm a process server.
He was like, dude, how was James Franco's character like one of the smartest in the movie and like the most cultured, but also the dumbest? Like,
what do you mean? What do you mean the battery's dead? I mean, the battery is dead. It ceased to exist.
Your Seth Rogen voice is really good.
I'm trying. You know.
Yeah, no, it's killer. Oh, you know what? So I had a hot take while watching this. Mm-hmm. I think this movie would not have even been conceived without The Big Lebowski.
Oh, interesting.
And I think The Big Lebowski invented a genre that I just watched a video of Seth Rogen and James Franco kind of taking credit for the action stoner comedy genre that they sort of invented, but I gotta say
they reconfigured it. You know,
it's really just an actionier version of The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, it kind of is actually.
And it's not. I wouldn't say it's a ripoff, but it's like in some ways it is, because it's like a simple problem. The guy is in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then kind of puts himself in the wrong position, and then has to go on this adventure to like run from bad people for a long time. Yeah,
and it also gets like a little and it also gets a little bit like existential with the Sam Elliott character. That's interesting. I wasn't thinking about Big Lebowski at all, but it's totally there.
And then, you know, Inherent Vice is another like stoner mystery. I wouldn't say it's probably not an action, but
honestly, one battle after another. Like the Leo character is
battle after another.
A little bit the dude, and definitely a little bit of Dale Denton. I'm just like,
I would say hugely the dude.
For sure. I mean, the attire alone.
Because here's another piece of it that I was really thinking about, and it's this trope that I think the dude invented a trope, but it's possible that maybe it existed in previous films, but I'm not aware of them. It's the cool stoner hipster outsider, doesn't care what people think guy who actually has a lot of anxiety. A lot. You watch one battle after another. You know, right? It's sort of your personality, right? Like
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, and like me too. Like I'm like I seem easyggoing, but in my head I'm just so anxious. Yeah. But like Leo was perfect in one battle for his a lot of his comedy came from his showing of anxiety, his display of his anxiousness.
Well, and things happening to him too. Yeah. It's the same kind of character where it's like he's not necessarily the one driving the plot forward. He's just like this kind of doofus guy who like keeps being around all this crazy shit that's happening and has to like make his way through it. And that's totally, I think that doesn't happen without Big Lebowski, and I think Pineapple Express like definitely piggybacked off of that kind of structure of a movie of just like, because there had been stoner movies before, and there had been like, you know, plenty of like crossover kind of like comedy action things, but like I also think that Pineapple Express caught like weed culture at the right time too.
Interesting.
Because it wasn't really legally, I don't even think Colorado had legalized anything yet.
What about California?
I don't think so. I think Colorado was first before California, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was like still illegal. It was still a little taboo. It was still cool, because I think that there quickly became a point in like the mid 2010s ish when like being a stoner and like having weed shit just actively became lame. You know, when people were identifying with it too much. And like, but I think Pineapple Express came out at a time where weed was still taboo in a fun way, and they're like, wait, you could just make a movie about weed? And like, oh my god, are they smoking real weed? You know, it's like, and that was like those were the conversations.
Were they?
No, I don't think they were, but there was a lot of fun mystique. I mean, there's a non-zero chance that Seth Rogen ripped one, but it's like, that's hard to do.
They did in Grandma's Boy
for sure.
Nick Swartzen said that they were taking real bong hits, and he was just getting, like, he says it in one of his stand-up specials actually.
It's the same thing with Platoon. Willem Dafoe was talking about how they smoked real weed on the set of that, and then but that's the thing, is like, you get really stoned, and then like you're still on a movie set, and then later you're less stoned and you're just like kind of grumpy and like hungry and tired, and you know, and that, so it's like it wouldn't even really make sense to like, and then you're forgetting your lines. So I feel like it was a bit more of a buttoned up work environment than they have it seem, in terms of like it feels so freewheeling, and so just like we're having like, you know, the dudes are having fun, but I think it was like maybe a tighter ship than we think that it was, because otherwise, I don't know, otherwise the movie wouldn't work at all. I think if it was just a bunch of stoners, like that, you didn't get Megalopolis, you know. The
misnomer about, I don't know if it's a misnomer, but the misconception about Seth Rogen, I think, is that he's such a weed enthusiast that maybe he might be unproductive or lazy, and he's like the hardest working guy in Hollywood.
He's truly the exception that proves the rule of the stoners are lazy. Just like,
he is the most prolific. I would say at this point he's more prolific than Judd in some ways. Maybe not in the span of his career, but like he's just cranking out stuff left and right.
And it's all pretty good. I mean, besides Sausage Party,
really
besides
good.
Sausage Party, it all like really works. I would say.
Oh, you didn't like Sausage Party?
I mean, I enjoyed Sausage Party in the moment.
You didn't like the orgy at the end?
Again, like I said, I was in the correct headspace to watch Sausage Party, let's say, and so I did just let it kind of wash over me. Right place, right time, like you were saying. The
only thing I've ever seen Seth Rogen in that shouldn't have been made is Observe and Report.
That was tough, yeah.
Well, there's a scene in that is not acceptable. I don't even want to go into what it is, but it's just like they shouldn't have done it. Yeah, it was just gross.
Aging like cottage cheese.
Yeah, no, it was just, I don't even think it probably was received well then. It was just like, why did, like, ugh.
Well, that movie in general was already like a Paul Blart ripoff, and
yeah, but like worse somehow.
It's like really,
it's like that's already a bad idea for a movie. You're gonna make like a worse one, and you're gonna cast a genius like Seth Rogen to be like a really like problematic character. Like,
and that's true. That was clearly a bag for him, and like I think generally that's why his career has done well, is because he's mostly avoided just like the fuck it, I'll just do this because it's good money roles. He's like actively has a hand in most of the. I mean, at least now it's exclusively he has a hand in the things that he's acting in and performing in. Like it's his passion projects. He's not just doing it for a check, and I think that's like really been helpful in terms of his longevity. Yeah, like a lot of those actors, you can't necessarily say that for. I mean, they've all done pretty well at like not doing too much like, you know, Marvel bullshit, or like they've kept the main thing. Danny McBride is a great example of like, now he's producing his own shit. Righteous Gemstones is fucking amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
So, yeah. I think they're all like, he set himself up for success, Seth Rogen, in a very active way. And I think this movie kind of cemented like his brand of like the funny stoner guy who like, oh, actually he's really funny, or like, oh, actually he's really talented, or like hardworking. Or I think there was an uphill battle in terms of his career of like, how do I want to present myself? How do I want to like, what kind of roles do I want? And I think he just didn't overthink it. Yeah. And I think that's where Jonah Hill kind of went haywire in some ways, that he was just really he was very self-conscious. He was very almost too self-aware and maybe too online, and like he was dealing, he had his own issues obviously going on. I think he had a big, like his brother passed away. Like Jonah Hill has had a tough time in Hollywood. It's like, and part of it's luck. A big part of it is luck at the end of the day. And I think that Seth Rogen just like is the luckiest of all of them. Truly.
Yeah. Truly. I was thinking about the Jonah Hill's like body image stuff. That makes me so sad to think about.
Yeah.
But I think about someone like John Goodman, and obviously like we don't have social media evidence of like what the 90s really felt like for John Goodman, but I just never got the vibe from him that he was really made fun of for his body type very much. In fact, it seemed like he was almost praised for it. Like he was known as this like big, strong, lovable guy.
Right. Yeah.
He wasn't, I don't hear people talk about like him being
the fat
guy or something.
No.
It's like he's like this big like lumberjack guy.
Even
that
when
people,
he lost weight, it wasn't a big tabloid thing.
And
it just kind of
how
happened.
did he avoid that? And he might, in a world where he would ever hear this,
of course,
he might be like,
he
might be like, no, I had a horrible time. I had the same time as Jonah. It just wasn't documented.
Yeah, the internet just wasn't a thing yet.
But I feel like some people just get away with not being affected by other people, or maybe just don't have to have a more fortunate experience or something.
They're just for some reason exempt, and that's like great for John Goodman's career. And it just I think it really affected Jonah Hill in a big way. And like I think Seth Rogen kind of avoided it too, because he's he was not necessarily a skinny guy in those movies, especially in Knocked Up. I think he was a little bit bigger, but like I think he did a good job of like just sidestepping that. And again, I don't know what he necessarily did differently than Jonah Hill, besides maybe just being a little less like self-conscious and but I don't know, it's really interesting just looking back now on all of their careers, like even just like the random side. Kevin Corrigan was in The Departed, and like all of these guys have had such incredible, horrible, but also really just interesting arcs in their career. And I feel like Pineapple Express caught them all at exactly the right time. It was such a zeitgeist moment,
Yeah. Man. What a flick.
Yeah. One of the better ones.
It's truly one of the better ones. I'm trying to think of like anything else in my.
There's just so many little things like, cross joint. There's the guy Mark who wants Percocet, his rat tail like is so fucking funny.
Hey, look, it's like my thumb is my cock.
Yeah, that's not gonna get us a ride, man.
I want to mention Steve Banos from Freaks and Geeks. He plays Mr. Kauchevsky on Freaks and Geeks. He was one of like the henchmen guys.
Oh my god! And Joe Lutrulio as the Clark's a great guy, man. He's totally gonna take care of Angela, man. So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool.
That scene. Wait. I wrote a quote.
Middle
from
finger's
that
not gonna stop the clock.
I wrote a quote from that scene. I thought hurricane season was over. No, that's a totally different scene.
That's how I feel with my first husband.
Wait. I want to find this quote. It was so funny. Oh, your Jeff Goldblum impression made me pee my pants. I wish.
I love the time to suck today's dick.
So I looked up this what was the black sitcom that was in the background. I thought hurricane season was over. It's from a show called 227.
Okay.
Or 227. I don't know how you say it.
Oh, because then later Seth Rogen's like, we can watch 227 and shit.
And it's a 1980 sitcom starring Jackie Harry and Regina King, who are like two kind of actor legends now.
Fairly acclaimed.
But they were probably very young when that show came out. Totally. I love his character, like watching kind of a more obscure sitcom.
Very random.
They could have gone with like Good Times. If they wanted to go for like an older black sitcom, they could have picked like The Jeffersons or like.
Well, there's so many little things that they do with his apartment that I love too. Just
interesting.
Like it's such a classic, just like burnout. Like there's shit all over the coffee table. But he has satellite radio and he's super pumped to flex about that. He's got the two TVs. He's watching a random sitcom that's just on. Like they do such a good job of just like painting this guy as like you just know him through his like house, you feel like you learn so much about him through the way that he like his protocol for like I didn't buzz you in, like it's like that's gonna
like
help.
Why does he care about that? I wrote down another quote. Well, what are you doing this weekend? We could look at crazy things on the internet together. My bubby has season tickets to the opera and she can't make it, so want to go see Phantom? And Seth Rogen goes, of the opera? He goes, yeah. It's painful watching James Franco kind of get rejected by this guy.
That's the hardest part of the movie, is just watching like this poor dude who's just wants to have a friend.
He just wants it, yeah.
And this guy's like, oh, and then when Seth Rogen just makes it plain of like, we are not friends. You're my drug dealer. I like the drugs you sell. It's so hard to watch as someone who is like has been friends with pot dealers in the past and just like wanting to make sure that they know that they're not like I would hang out with you, regardless of a transaction, So it's just so sad to watch that. It feels really real. That's like for some reason the moment that hit me the hardest this time. It's just like, that's such a fucked up thing to say to someone.
These movies kind of hit harder a little bit, like in the emotional ways when you're older? You're kind of like, for wow, like they really did something there.
When you got me kind of like, I kind of want to watch Superbad now, because there's so many moments in that I think would hit me so much harder now, having had more like difficult and real conversations with like the man in my life, and just like saying the quiet parts out loud, and like I don't think that really like resonated as much with me when I was a kid, just because I hadn't like experienced real world like friendship challenges and like loss, and it's like you do come back to these movies, as much as they are an old comfort, you come back to them with this added context of just like, I wonder if these guys stayed friends. Like I wonder what happened the next day, or like I wonder if Jonah Hill and Michael Cera like stayed buds, or if that was like the last time they saw you. It's like you start to think a little more like cynically about these friendships that that like I don't know. It's just interesting. Those movies have those parts of the movies have aged incredibly well. I think.
Well, Joey, this is a weird time to bring it up, but watching a movie about the ups and downs of male friendship made me think about our friendship.
I know, it's true.
Like I've never I've wanted to say this to you for years.
Let's do it on the pod, baby.
Is this weird to do it on the pod?
No, I think it's good content.
I've really missed you, man.
I missed you too, dude.
And I think about you a lot.
I think about you often. Well, and it's funny. It's one of those things where it's like friendships, sometimes wax and wane in terms of frequency of seeing someone. We were in a band together famously for a while.
Yep.
Quite famously.
Who was there?
Yeah. No. Yes, it's us.
Yeah.
Ava.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
That's the one?
That's the one.
We were in Taba too.
Oh yeah, we were in Taba as well. We can cut all this. But yeah, then it's just like, we weren't in the band anymore, and we both like got into new relationships, and then it's just like, at a certain point, it's one of those things where it's like you feel like too much time has passed, so you don't want to say I miss you, or you don't want to say, but it's like I genuinely have missed you, and it's nice catching up, and podcast or no, like I'm glad that I
think I felt hurt in my missing you.
For sure. Yeah, that's fair, dude.
I love you.
I love you too, man. And it's like
I haven't had the courage to say it, but I thought on the podcast that it might be an interesting moment.
That's what I'm saying about like male friendships, though, is that like so many men in my life have not had the courage to just be like, hey, I was hurt. Like, just like it was hard. It was hard to like not, that absence was hard for me, and I was hurt by it. Like, it's so hard to say that for some reason. It's so hard to say I miss you. It's so hard to say I care about, it's like,
I think I got in my head about you for some reason that you didn't want to be friends anymore or something.
That's not true, but also I
could tell by our interaction all today.
Of course, yeah, of course. But it's like, I get it. I totally get it, where it's like, I, on my end, was like, probably just feeling awkward about like, too much time has passed. It's like, at this point, I feel like an asshole for not responding to this text or that text. And it's like, and so I obviously was in my head about it too. And like, it's just good to like, I don't know. I wonder if it's, because you've had to watch a fuck ton of these movies now at this point, I would imagine. So,
I mean, it's a new podcast, so really, I'm just getting into it.
Right, but really, you're probably just like I was talking about initially. It's like so many of these movies, the central core is like male friendships and like the hardships and like the the plight of like men to like say the quiet part out loud. And so like I'm sure that's probably been healing for you in some way to like be like, oh yeah, this is the point of life is like making these connections and like, you know, maintaining them and like not letting things go unsaid. You know? So I love you so much and I care about you, and I'm glad you brought that up.
I do really care about you. I feel emotional a little bit.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Oh, it's good, dude. It's like, I don't know. It's friendships are hard. That's the thing that people don't understand, is that like friendships, there's just like life just gets in the way sometimes, you know, and then life like will just continue to go on. And then as that happens, you feel like, I don't know, you're nervous that friendship changes in some way. But then it's like today, it's like as soon as I fucking walked in the house, it was like no time had passed at all. It was like, you know, I felt immediately silly for not like for not just being like, hey, sorry, I miss you. You know, but it's easy to get into those traps as a man, especially, I think. Yeah.
When I had my wedding, I had a hard time. I feel like crying.
Oh, I love you. Baby boy. Baby boy.
It's gonna be the clip.
And you can clip that.
It's
sorry, I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at your tears, for the record. Oh.
This is such a silly podcast. We were like making like porn jokes when you walked in, and now I'm like crying. Like this is like
the spectrum of male friendship. Okay.
No, like when you plan a wedding, it's really hard to not invite people.
Yeah, man. Of course.
So I feel weird about that.
Oh, dude. I did not in any way, shape, or form take that personally, because weddings are expensive as fuck and feeding people is expensive as fuck. And it's also just like,
we hadn't connected in a number of years. So I was just kind of like trying to go with the people that I need to take care of first.
No, 100%.
But what hurt was that I wanted you there.
Oh, buddy. I wanted to be there. Of course I wanted to be there. Like, I don't know. I think it's like we were very, very close for like several years there. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's good that we're unpacking this. I think this is good that we're unpacking this because it's complicated, and I was ready to not say anything, to be honest. So I'm appreciative that you're bringing this up. Like,
I was not planning this in any way.
Oh, this is good
way, shape, or form. I've never cried during a podcast.
Of course, it's with me.
I could easily edit this out, but it's probably a good idea if I don't.
Leave that bitch in. Yeah, it's good. This is
I'm
good.
I'm definitely not posting the video. The listeners, you couldn't see this, but Joey did the masturbation.
I did the
hand signals.
The skiing motion. Yeah.
Oh man, I love you, man.
I love you so much, dude. And I'm grateful you brought me on. I'm grateful you thought of me. And I'm grateful that,
dude,
like,
I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you. I genuinely love you, and like we're gonna hang out more as a result of this. You know.
I think so. It was a connection I just didn't want to go away.
Likewise, dude. Life's too fucking short for that shit. You know.
We're holding hands.
We're holding hands for those that are listening, which is all of you.
So, what's another balls joke that you liked in the? I was like trying to go past.
He's smashing my balls. Smash them.
No, truly, I don't want you to feel like I ambushed you, because I
do not feel that way.
I wasn't even thinking about any of that stuff, but you kept talking about male friendship, and I was like, this guy is sitting across from me, and I think about our male friendship a lot.
Totally, yeah.
and
I'm glad. Well, it's selfishly, I'm glad that you missed me. You know, it's nice to feel. And like, of course, I missed you too, but it's just
thanks,
like,
man.
It's that mutuality of just like, oh, like I think it's often like you often forget how significant you can be in someone else's life.
Yeah,
you know, and it's easy to downplay that, and then you know it's all the more meaningful when you get to reconnect and be like, no, I genuinely like missed you. You know, like I wanted to have you around. And it's like sucks that you weren't, and like I don't know, that's just like. It's nice fuel for me to just like keep connecting with people in my life. And that's been I was talking to Mickey about this earlier. Just like my goal over 2026 is to like specifically connect more with my male friends and do shit like this. So this is huge.
This podcast is so far I have more episodes coming out with male friends of mine than female or non-binary friends, but I love I love talking to the ladies about Judd Apatow movies and comedies and things like that. But there is a uniquely particular with our generation, you know, we're like the same age and, you know, we were like 14 around the same time and it was around the time these movies were coming out. It's like so formative for us. And it's like it's such a male friendship theme.
100%. I think it is
so much
probably more catered towards men in general, these movies. But I think it's analogous, I think, to any gender in terms of just human connection and just I think there's that through line in like literally every one of Judd Apatow's movies. But I think the male friendship element is like this movie specifically, like this one and Superbad. If you had brought me on for Superbad, I was going to talk about this as well. It's such a pillar of like, I don't know. It's just kind of like kismet, the timing of this, that I'm like trying to connect with people, and like you're one of the people I wanted to connect with.
I know.
And we're talking about a movie that's like dudes connecting.
I know.
So I'm totally glad I dipped in your ink, bro.
I'm glad I dipped in your ink. It's like it's kind of like we're like living the plot of this movie in the recording of this podcast. Like, and it was not planned.
Am I both Dale Denton and Saul?
I'm both. Yeah, for sure. And but it's like, I don't think that moment that just happened a minute ago that I'm still embarrassed about, where I cried on a podcast.
It was going to happen eventually.
I think so. I don't think that moment would have happened if we talked about like Talladega Nights.
No, definitely not.
We wouldn't have just gone there, but there's something about this movie really did hit me about male friendships. You know, like to credit my wife, Bridget, like she really, something changed when I started dating her, where she really encouraged my male friendships more than anyone has ever told me to like kind of keep that up.
For sure.
And I just like didn't realize how important that was to me. And I've always had a lot of women friends in my life, like since I was a kid. Well, not that they were women when I was a kid.
I had a lot of grown women friends when I was 12.
Hang out with a lot of like 60-year-old women when I was 7.
I worked at a retirement home, so it was fine.
Right. No, but like my wife is really just like kind of pushed me to like, when have you called Taylor last? Like she really cares. Yeah. So dude, you know what? That moment was beautiful, I think.
You better leave that shit in.
I'm leaving that shit in.
Good.
I'm going to be embarrassed listening back about how I sound when I cry, but
all the more reason to leave it in though.
It hurts to know that I like didn't invite you to my wedding, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like I'm not inviting that guy. It was really just like, I got to like make sure I invite all the people that I've really like kept up with in the last like couple of years.
Well, it's just, there is realistically a finite amount of asses you can put in seats. Yeah. You're on a budget. Like there's just like, there's only, it's okay. It's so
it's just like, what hurts me is that I wish we could have had this podcast before the wedding and like had you in your ass in a seat then, but it's like, you know, maybe you'll just have to come over sometime. I'll put on Bridget's dress. She can put on my tux and we'll just give you a little show.
Yeah, if you don't mind just recreating, we can hit up Kai. He's ordained.
Also, you didn't miss a wedding. You missed a reception party. So it's different. Yeah. You know, it's like our wedding was just family and really small. There was like 14 people total.
Nice.
You know Zach Baker?
Of course.
Zach Baker married us.
Oh, that's so awesome.
It was in Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Huge.
Which is awesome. Bridget is from Escanaba, Michigan.
Gotcha.
Which is in the UP, but she discovered a town in the Keweenaw Peninsula called Eagle Harbor, and it's like at the very tip. I almost like want to bleep it out because I don't want anyone to know. It's like the most special place in the world, and it's like you kind of arrive and you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
But then like you're like, oh, this is actually like the shit. Like, why is this so great? It's like on Lake Superior, but it makes Lake Superior look really small, like a small lake, because it's like a little corner of Lake Superior. So there's like houses around it.
Yeah, you should not divulge this location.
No, it's fucking amazing. And so there's a church that I I've always photographed when we go there, because it's just like this like haunting. It looks like the church in like a Stephen King book. Yeah. Like it's like kind of creepy, but like still pretty looking. Mm-hmm. And on the front of the church it says St. Peter's by the Sea Church. And so I just called them up and they didn't answer, but then I called someone from the town of Eagle Harbor and they knew someone, and they said, well, Cheryl's on vacation in Florida, but here's her number, and she's the only one who has the keys to the church. And she was like, yeah, they only use it for AA anyway, so like I'll just make sure that you get that. I'll just leave the doors open.
Was it just like, did they just give it?
They just left the doors open, and we just used the church, and it's like beautiful. I'll show you the pictures of like our wedding. Like it's like a painted teal on the inside. It's like really pretty. It looks like it's from like the 60s.
That's insane.
And we learned the history of that church, that they actually like it was located in a different town, and they like picked it up and put it on a truck and then like brought it over.
Crazy.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like, is that a thing that people do anymore? Is that like
put churches on a
entire buildings onto a truck and then just bring them to a different place as is? It's not a fucking thing that happens.
It doesn't seem
like,
possible.
It's like the Patrick Star, like we should pick up the town. It's not a thing. This is not a fucking thing that happens.
Wait, can we have a conversation as SpongeBob and Patrick?
Yes, of course, SpongeBob. I noticed during the end credits that there was an original Huey Lewis song.
I didn't What
the fuck was that? Hey, Squidward. Oh my god.
You dipped into my ink hard today.
I dipped in. Yeah, I'm deep in the ink now.
You dipped in. Dude, I really wasn't planning the emotional part.
It's perfect.
I hope it wasn't weird.
No, absolutely not. How dare you feel feelings in front of me?
I like when James Franco said, fuck the police. That was funny.
I like when he goes, Ted's the man. Like, just completely oblivious to like the murder that just happened. Has not put it together. Dale gets hit in the head so many times also throughout the movie.
Yeah.
Like probably 15 times he just gets fucking domed in the head.
A lot. Another thing I wrote down was that the characters and the imagery in this movie is iconic.
Yeah.
Like, especially, it's almost been 20 years, which you blew my mind with.
Crazy, right?
But I remember, like, if I close my eyes, I can picture the brown tweed suit that Seth Rogen's wearing, and the pants that James Franco's wearing.
Yeah,
and it's like they partially because they wore the same outfit for the whole movie,
right?
But it's kind of like Superbad, where it's like you picture like those 70s suits that they bought, and then,
the iconography of that movie is so distinct. Even the locations, they really, that's talking about timeless. You know, it's really fucking timeless.
I was just in Los Feliz, and I there was like kind of a convenience store, and I was like, holy shit, is this the one from Superbad? I looked it up and it's not. It's like the one from Superbad is in like a different town in California. But
that would have been so sick.
It looked so similar.
Okay, really quick. I did want to talk about the California element.
Yeah.
I feel like every single Apatow movie that takes place in LA puts zero emphasis on the fact that it takes place in LA. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and I think I would imagine that's partially because Judd like grew up in LA or
it just strikes me as like
he's a New York. I think he's a New York and LA guy. I'm trying to remember like what his upbringing was.
He strikes me as just not being particularly interested in the landscape of the city, or at the very least not in the sense that he wants to like put it into his movies. You know?
No, he's not Red Hot Chili Peppersing.
No, it's not. Gotta warn you, I'm from California.
No.
Yeah, he could take a little page out of Kiedis's book, though. To be honest, you know,
there's some pages that should have been taken out of Kiedis's book.
I was so mad.
If they edited what is acceptable, it would be like a pamphlet.
It'd be a little zine. Just one time I was at the Grammys. End of story. One time I was playing a show. End of that story, I guess. Oh, there's a lot of redacted stuff, and then I went to sleep. All right.
He's a guy who's like, why hasn't he been canceled?
It's absolutely insane. He's literally dating like a 19-year-old right now.
He's always.
He's 60, and
since
he's dating a 19-year-old.
forever.
Yeah. No, and he's just like skated
and the
by.
older I get, you know, when you're a teenager, you're kind of like, yeah. When you're a teenager, you're like, yeah, teenage girls are hot because I'm a teen too.
Right.
Like, so it
we're
would
contemporaries.
Be, of course,
yeah.
like a 50-year-old would be like into that. But then you get older and you're like, you see high school kids really do look like kids.
They look
the
like
older
children.
you get.
Yeah, they're literally children.
So yeah, it's
it's pretty
bizarre.
wild that he's like just chilling. He's totally fine.
It makes me wonder like what like Flea and like Chad think about that. Like I wonder like
yeah.
I might. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll keep this part in.
Yeah,
this might just be for us.
This might just be for the Chad Smith, local guy.
Local guy.
He's from Minneapolis. Or he's from like I think.
Oh, he's from.
I think he's from Richfield actually, which we're currently very close.
Holy
to.
shit!
Yeah.
Does he like visit? I know.
I think sometimes, yeah.
I know that Nick Costa has a story of running into Chad Smith.
Oh no.
He did something. So this was back when Nick was drinking,
right?
And so he was a little
loosey goosey. Yeah, he was in his loosey goosey era.
Yeah. So this was before I ever knew him. So I guess the Chili Peppers were in town or something, and he came and Nick was drinking. And I think he told this story to me on a different podcast, so I can tell it. But he was like day drinking and at a bar in St. Paul. And Chad Smith walked in, and the second he walked in, Nick went to Touch Tunes and put on Californication.
No.
And he played it 7 times.
He Mulaney'd it.
After like 4.5 times, Chad left.
Oh, he was new Pussycatted it. That's so tough. At what point in the playthroughs do you think he was like, okay, someone's fucking with me? Like, because initially he's probably like, oh, what a funny coincidence, like they're playing my song.
Yeah.
And then by the second time, I feel like by the second time he probably got wise and was trying to like, be the bigger person.
Yeah, or he's just like, fuck this, I'm getting out of here.
I loved you in Step Brothers.
Oh, that would
he
probably
hates that shit.
I mean, he embraced it on like, what was it, Fallon?
He did for a while, and now I think he's over
then
it.
he's back over it.
He's just like, yeah, well, what can someone ask me a question that's not about fucking Will Ferrell? Like, you're such a little boy. Little Richfield boy.
Here's another quote. I never want to kill anyone again. And then McBride says, that's kind of something you dip your toes into. Like, we dipped our toes into murder.
Yeah.
The more people listen to this podcast, they realize that I don't memorize quotes, so I have to write them down for something like this. But they affect me anyway.
They kill so many people at the end of that movie.
Oh, it's like the death count is
dozens of people that
like
are
Scarface.
Yeah, it's fucking
it's
insane.
really, it becomes a full action.
It's fully
film.
an action movie by the end. Yeah.
It's more. I would argue it's more of an action movie than Die Hard is.
Interesting.
Because Die Hard to me doesn't actually feel like an action movie. It's more of a suspense thriller.
It's like a thriller. Yeah, I can see that.
I've heard people talk about. People a lot smarter than me talk about how Die Hard is really more Hitchcockian than most action films.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
And it's kind of the way it's shot, a lot of suspense, a lot of quiet moments.
Yeah, the bomb is about to go off.
Yeah, and he's kind of sneaking around, and I think that's why ultimately why I enjoy Die Hard the way that I do. I actually rewatched it recently, and I didn't like it as much.
Oh damn!
I loved it the first time when I was like in my 20s, and I rewatched it. I actually think the camp aspects took me out of it. So like the young black guy who was the limo driver who has like catchphrases throughout the movie. Yeah. I was just like, that's really funny, but it kind of like takes me out of like the suspense of this whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But no one gives a shit about my fucking hot take on the most beloved movie of all time. Everyone loves that movie.
And it's not a Christmas movie. You heard it here first.
No, it's okay, I have a hot take on why it's not a Christmas movie. Yep. It's not because it's an action movie or because it's a thriller. It's because it takes place in Los Angeles. That's not a Christmassy town.
Yeah, that's true.
If this was the same movie, but it was shot in like some building in New York, or something.
Yeah, the lack of snow really just enforces the fact that it's
not a Christmas movie. It just takes place at Christmas. Like
totally.
I think people in LA can probably agree that Christmas don't feel like Christmas.
Doesn't hit the same.
I've been to LA in Christmas. I spent Christmas with my friend Cole Riddle, and it did not feel like Christmas.
No,
it really didn't.
Really weird seeing palm trees on December 25th.
But it's cool because the whole town clears out.
Oh yeah,
so
that's
it's like
probably
there's
true,
no traffic, and it's like the weirdest Los Angeles you've ever seen.
Yeah, because they're all transplants.
Yeah.
Damn, that does sound kind of fun, actually.
Yeah, it's cute.
I'll have to try it next time. Well, shit. I think that is... Oh, I just wanted to say that... Ooh, is that a boner? Oh, is that us getting a timeshare together?
Oh, wait. Here's one. Craig Robinson said, Carol is cool now, but she used to be a little crazy. She would throw tickle parties. And that... I was like... How many things is Craig Robinson in where he talks about tickling each other?
Yeah.
Remember on The Office when he was like, like I used to be in a gang and all this and that.
Yeah,
he's like, what you do on Sunday? You just tickle them. Then you go to church and get some ice cream. Like that's how you get out of like a murder. Like
my man loves tickles. He loves a good tickle.
And I wonder if they saw that episode of The Office and were like, he needs to talk about tickles more, or like
that could be,
or if it was like a subconscious thing, or if it's just totally
that's just where his mind goes. Yeah. He just loves tickle parties.
Is it 4 p.m.?
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow,
we're ending this.
We've been gabbing. Yeah.
We're ending this.
Mm-hmm.
I love you, Joey.
I love you, Ethan. This has been fucking wonderful.
Goodbye.
Let's do it anytime.
Okay. I'll have you on again.
I would love that. Yeah.
Sure.
More Apatow,
baby.
baby.
There's a lot of movies to choose from. So
that's true. And I've seen them all.
Apatow Nerd is created, hosted, recorded, edited, and mixed by me, Ethan Yeshaya. The lovely theme music was written and recorded by my dear friend Nick Costa. If you can connect me with someone who's worked with Judd Apatow or have an Apatow-related story, please send me an email at apatownerd@gmail.com. Stay curious, be funny, and we'll see you next time.